Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. We are the Boys from the Baltic Star. I am Ben, and with me tonight is the wonderful Ewan. Are you well, Ewan?
I'm really good, thanks, Ben. Really good. I'm excited. Back in space on a Friday night. Good times.
Yes, ironically, playing Starship Traveller on a Friday night.
Not only space, but a traveller space, which is always good.
It's going to be slightly unfamiliar territory for us. First of all, we've only failed this book once.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so that's not too bad. The the other thing that's a bit unfamiliar with this one is that as part of it, we are going to have to move from one planet to another.
Yes, I do recall.
Yeah, and in our traveller game, we usually don't do that. We settle in for 6 months or a year on a particular world and just explore
Yeah,
everything it has to offer. But this one, we're not going to have that chance.
we're still going to be able to overthrow governments, though, right?
I,
And get brunch.
I assume that must be in here somewhere. I'm not sure if we got far enough last time to work that one out.
Oh, right. Yeah. I suppose the brunch is the final reward at the end of the book when you complete it.
Yes,
Probably.
indeed. So, we essentially have a slightly different set of stats to worry about this time, which is going to matter quite a lot for our purposes. So essentially, generating the stats for this book. This is the fourth in the Fighting Fantasy series, written by Steve Jackson. That's the British Steve Jackson. Other Steve Jacksons are available.
An important distinction.
Yeah. So this one is actually designed with multiple crew in place. Pre-built with multiple crew, which is potentially excellent because there are two of us. So I can't remember if we did this way round last time, but I'm going to suggest that you play the captain, and I will play everybody else because you have a selection of people you can take with you when you go down to a planet's surface.
I believe that is how we did it last time, from my memory. Something to do with me getting lumbered with the captain's job once again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, in that case, the way it's broken down is we start with the ship's capabilities. Yeah, which is so you should roll for these because this is the ship itself. So you roll one die and add 6, and that is your weapon strength.
Right. That's a 3 plus 6 is 9.
Okay,
So
9's not terrible.
not bad. Not bad.
Okay, and now you roll one die again and add 12 this time for the shields.
I'm not sure about this. Normally it's 2, isn't it? I don't like this half the dice thing. That is a 6 though, which is pretty
Ooh,
good.
18. 18 is good. That's tremendous. Now, you don't actually die when your shields hit 0. The way the rules are written, it says if you take a hit when your shields are 0, you die.
Which makes sense.
So, yeah, it does. So essentially, it means we can run all the way to 0, but no further. As soon as we hit -1, we're doomed.
Yeah.
Okay, so we then have to roll the stats for the captain. This is brave Captain Ewan. And essentially, you will do a skill and stamina roll. There is no Well, there is luck, oddly enough, but it's not in this section. Hold on a second. Let me just flick ahead because there's something. Okay, luck is shared across the whole thing. Fair enough. So we need to do skill and stamina for the captain, and then for each of his loyal and decent crew. So if you can go ahead and roll 1d6 and add 6 for the skill score for the captain.
I certainly can. That's a 5 plus 6 for 11.
That's
This
pretty
is going
good.
well. Yeah, I like
That's
this.
pretty good. And then 2d6 plus 12 for the captain's stamina, please.
That's more familiar. That's what we like. That is not such a good roll, though. That is a 6 plus 12 for an 18.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Not bad.
We've seen worse.
We certainly have.
And the really good news with this one is you're not going to have to take away any points. So you get to keep all of those lovely
yes,
points.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's good.
Right. Now, I'm going to do the same for your loyal crew. So the first one is the science officer. Rolled a 3 and a 6 for skill and stamina. So that's 9 and 18. The medical officer rolled a 3 and a 10. So 9 and 22. This is good. The security officer, a 2 and a 4. He's not doing well, so that's an 8 and a 16. Your engineering officer, we need somebody to be competent on this ship.
Hopefully.
A 2.
Nice.
And a 3.
That's okay. They're only there for their engineering.
That's right.
Anyway.
Absolutely. So that's, I'm afraid, 8 and 15. Now we have 2 red-shirted security guards. 5 and 10.
Ooh.
So red shirt number 1 is actually looking pretty healthy.
Which is not what you expect, but it's good to know.
Oh, that's 11 and 22. That's really good numbers. And security guard number 2. 1, that's more like it. And 5.
Okay.
So he's your weakest by skill, but actually not your weakest in stamina. He has 17 stamina. You have an engineering officer and a security officer who are weaker than that in stamina. So, essentially, you can see roughly how well, based on those numbers, that everybody can handle their own departments.
Yep.
Now, if you, for whatever reason, need a non-security crew member to fight an alien, so that's anyone other than the security officer and the 2 guards,
Yep.
then they have to fight at -3.
Okay.
Because
To
that
their
is not
skill.
what they're good at. In fact, I've just seen their stats. None of them are good at anything. Except guard number 1, who is in fact this absolutely buff red shirt.
Very good. We're relying solely on guard number 1.
Yeah. And now for the entire crew and the ship as well, I guess. Could you please roll 1d6 plus 6 for luck?
Yes. That's 5.
Okay. So 11 luck. That's not bad.
although it is shared, but not bad at all.
Indeed. Yeah. So that's not bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's okay.
Yeah, and as you say, we haven't had to reduce any numbers, but which is good. Yeah, it's always a painful thing when you roll well and you know that that's the one you're going to have to be taking points off of.
Yes, it is going to hurt, that one. And 16. Great. Okay. So that is our basic set-off. Now, when you go down to a planet, you will be told that 2 or 3 crew members can accompany you. But you have to pick which ones, and they have to be living ones. You can't take any that you've already seen die.
Which I feel is a shame, but okay. I guess it makes sense for narrative purposes.
And every time you leave a planet, you can restore 2 stamina to every crew member as long as your medical officer is still alive.
That is quite good.
Okay?
Yep.
So any wounded can get a little bit of healing every time you leave a planet, as long as your medical officer is alive.
He's still with us. Wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's a good chance. Statistically.
Well, yes. I mean, in theory, hopefully, I won't have to even consider taking them along for some time.
Oh, quite right. I mean, it's unlikely your medical officer would have any useful insights when exploring strange worlds and meeting alien species.
When has that ever happened?
Anyway, I suspect your medical officer might turn out to be quite cynical and sarcastic for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing.
We should come up with a cool nickname for them.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you lose any person from your group, you can replace them with an assistant. And you roll their stats, except the stamina is rolled as normal, but the skill is the same as their predecessor, -2.
Okay.
All right, because they're not as good. And a replacement medical officer can restore stamina points at the rate of 1 stamina per leaving planet, not 2. Okay?
Makes sense.
Right. So with that in mind, we will begin. Panic. From your seat at the helm of the Starship Traveller, you study the VDU anxiously. Engineering section has reported an overdrive malfunction, which has locked the warp engines at 10% velocity gain. You're now watching the velocity indicator advancing rapidly through the safe region towards overload. You hit the communicator button and call engineering for further news. It is not good. The malfunction cannot be traced, and it will take another 13 minutes for a system check to provide a full analysis. You are heading towards the Celsian Void, a known black hole. You may or may not avoid it, but your science officer has another plan. If you swing the ship through its immense gravitational pull, its gravity drag may help reduce your speed as you travel away from it. This is worth a try, but the navigational turning will have to be precise. You swing the Starship hard to starboard as you enter the Celsian's gravitational field and fasten your eyes on the velocity indicator. To your great relief, the plan seems to be working. The gain comes down from 10% to 5% to 0 to -5%. Loud cheers come from the crew, but you're still watching the velocity indicator. It is now showing minus 15%, then minus 25%, and still falling. The ship is being sucked into the Celsian void. You hit the red alert button and instruct all ship's personnel to strap themselves down. The ship begins to whine and shake as it rapidly accelerates towards the black hole. There is nothing you can do to avert the impending disaster. An almighty explosion rocks the ship, and all the crew, including you, lose consciousness. Turn to 256.
Oh, that's not good. It's a bad way to start.
Well, you say that, but is it really any worse than the way we usually start these books?
Oh, that's true.
I mean, aren't we usually either about to walk into something that is known to cause everybody's doom, or in prison, or stranded on a remote island or something?
Yeah. Very, very often.
Yeah. You and the other members of the crew are regaining consciousness. Again you hit the communicator and call for systems damage reports. All systems appear to be intact, until engineering reports that the warp drive engines are dead. You are floating in space, but your drive reactors should be operational in 20 to 30 minutes. Your navigation officer is bewildered. It's a funny name for an officer. He cannot identify your whereabouts, and the computer reports you are in uncharted space. Your science officer has run an event analysis, and you appear to have gone through the black hole, through a dimension warp, and you are now in what seems to be a parallel universe. After some delay, you regain warp drive. Long-range scan indicates 3 solar systems ahead, of which 2 may have intelligent life. So, we can go towards the life-bearing system ahead, turn to port towards the other life-bearing system, or turn to starboard towards the barren system. I absolutely love our little spaceship.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is a thing of beauty.
Quite pleased with it. For the time being, it will suffice. Well, it's a good question.
So
life, no life.
Life, no life. Yeah, we can basically press on, turn port or turn starboard, and the starboard option has seemingly no intelligent life. It's also apparently barren, so it's not entirely like Earth.
Interesting. Any preference?
Oh, not really. I think it's early for this to be the absolute execution choice.
Oh, I don't know. Snail was mentioning that this one might have an early execution choice, so I think we should tread carefully.
You think treading carefully is the way? Fair enough.
Left and right feels sensible. Left or right, not and. That would be difficult. I strongly advise against splitting the ship in the middle of space and going left and right.
I mean, it would be an exciting way to split the party very early.
It would. Foolish, but maybe exciting.
So, left or right you'd prefer rather than straight ahead?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, fair enough. So shall we roll a die and see if we're heading towards the life-bearing one or the barren one?
Or do we just go life-bearing and life-bearing? That makes more sense.
If we go port, it'll be life-bearing. If we turn to starboard, it'll be barren. If we head straight on, it'll be life-bearing. And you're comfortable about ignoring the one that's ahead? Because that's clearly a trap.
Well, you would think so. Although I'm starting to think now that maybe we should, with issues on the ship, we should head somewhere that has life.
Well, maybe port then, because they have life apparently, and they aren't straight ahead where it's obviously a trap.
And I do quite like port, to be fair.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, and all of the characters you play are port-handed.
That's very true. A lot of them are. Also, a nice little reminder for me which way port is. Thanks, Ben.
Okay, well, I think we've got a decision then. We will turn to port towards the other life-bearing system, and we turn to 273. You travel ahead at sub-warp speed to allow your sensors to scan for information. They pick up a small object several thousand kilometres ahead and travelling towards you. You continue cautiously. At 5 kilometres it stops and you do likewise. Sensors report a Class D star cruiser and you prepare yourself with shields up. A message comes in and you transfer it to the screen. A reptilian face appears in a uniform of authority. As your translator tunes in, the alien's message becomes clear. I am Commander McTell of the Imperial Ganzig Confederation. You are a non-registered slurp. I'm sorry, I didn't actually mispronounce that. I just thought it would be funny to say. You're a non-registered ship, trespassing within Imperial territory. Identify yourself and state your purpose. You see, I figure the translator hasn't quite caught up yet.
Takes time.
So, we can identify ourselves the way he wants. We can run an info scan on the Imperial Ganzig Confederation, or we can attack.
Identify ourselves with our space lasers. So, I'm not too sure how that will go down. Any preference, Ben?
I'm tempted to say doing information can't hurt, but we are apparently in unknown space, so I'm not sure what useful stuff that will return.
Yeah, that is true. That's true.
I don't know. I suppose it's worth trying. After all, our ship is in mediocre fighting trim.
We're no worse off than when we started, which is good. Give it a go. Let's see what happens.
Okay, this is what we will do. This is what we will do. We will throw ourselves into the battle, and run an info scan, and see if while we're doing that he opens fire. Let's see what it turns up. If it turns up nothing, we've lost, nothing. We hope. 51. The ship's computer has no information on the Imperial Ganzig Confederation. Impatient at your delay, the Star Cruiser fires a carefully placed shot across your bows. It is absorbed by your shields, but at a cost of 2 shield points. Okay. That feels cruel.
Yeah. I'm going to, running out of spaceship ideas already. I know it's early.
So, do we reply to his request or return his fire?
That's a very good question. We have been fired upon.
We have. That's a good point. And we could return fire with enthusiasm. And, maybe that's the right thing to do anyway. I mean, this guy doesn't seem like he's really all that much for talking.
Is that what it says in the book? Does it say to return fire with enthusiasm? Because if it does,
it does not.
Definitely do that.
I mean, I was just feeling if we chose to return fire, we should do so with enthusiasm.
Right. Yes. Yeah, I agree. Is that what you're thinking?
I mean, I'm torn. Normally I would say let's talk to the guy, but he did shoot at us because we were just not talking yet. That's harsh.
Yeah, that's true. We didn't even do anything wrong.
We'd come to a stop, so, you know.
Let's do it.
Open fire?
Yep, open fire. I
Okay,
think
we will
Snow's
return
right,
fire.
I'm committing to it.
Turn to 135. Okay. Both ships open fire. This will be a battle to the death. Turn to 341 for the rules of ship combat, but remember this reference. Once you've read through the rules, return here and fight the battle. So the alien ship has weapon strength 9, shields 12.
Okay. It's not bad.
Could be worse, right? So, 341. Ships attack each other in turn. Okay, so we attack first. We rolled 2 dice for our attack, compared the total rolled with your ship's weapon strength. And we have to hit, basically we have to be lower or equal to our weapon strength. I'm sorry, we have to be lower than, equal to is a miss. Lower than is a hit. And if... Okay, and then if we get a hit, then we can do between 2 and 6 points of damage, which seems like a lot that you can do. So the procedure works as each taking turns, and then when shields are 0, you know, the usual happens. Death comes very quickly. And when you get to a spaceport, you can repair any damage to your shields. Okay? Okay, so off you go. The ships attack in turn, so you get to roll 2 dice for your attack. What you're after is a score that is lower than your weapon strength. Okay?
Lower than 9. Yep.
So 2 to 8 is a hit.
Oh, that's not good. That is a 10.
Ooh, okay.
We don't want high numbers.
So we miss. Okay, now I'm going to roll for the enemy ship. Okay, that is a 5, which is less than its weapon strength, so it has achieved a hit. So in order to determine damage, I roll 2 dice again, but compare the total with our shield score. Okay?
Yeah.
So I've rolled a 6. If the total is equal to or lower, which it is, then we take 2 points of damage. So we are down to 14.
16? We start with 18? Or did I write that down wrong?
Yeah, we took 2 from the first hit, and we've just taken another 2.
Right.
So we're now down to 14. Because when they first fired at us, it automatically cost us 2.
Oh, yeah, of course. My mistake. Pay attention, Captain.
Okay, it's your turn to attack. I say your turn, our turn to attack.
Let's go low numbers. That's better. That's a 4.
Excellent.
It's indeed less than 9.
Then can you please roll 2 dice? And essentially what we're looking for here is suddenly big numbers.
Yes, I shall swap to the other dice because they rolled big ones last time. That's how it works, right? That's a 9.
Okay. So... Alright, so given their current shields, in fact, there was no point in rolling that, was there? It was definitely going to be equal to or less. So it does 2 points of damage. They are... Oh, I suppose you could have hit a 12. They are down to 10.
Wonderful.
Okay. It's their turn, however.
Uh-oh.
That is a 9, which is their weapon strength, so they miss.
That is good news. That makes me happy. I'm going to assume it just bounces off our shield.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's our turn.
I'll go again.
Very good. That is a 7, please, which is less.
Excellent. 2d6,
2
please.
more. And that is a 9.
Okay, that's another 2. They drop to a total of 8 points. They are getting weakened significantly. Their return fire, that is a 9. Again, that is a miss.
Close. Right, and ours is a 7.
Oh, fantastic. They are now a strength 8 and their shields.
And now I choose to roll a 3.
So they are now down to 6. Excellent stuff. Okay, their turn. Okay, that's a 3. That's a comfortable hit. And they then roll... no, they can't hit our shield number, so it's -2 again. So we drop to, what's that, 12?
12. Oof. It's been quite a harsh encounter.
Yeah.
That is another 7 on our dice.
Excellent. 2d6, please.
Hit a 6, I'm assuming or above, hopefully. That is good. That is a 10.
A 10. Excellent. That does 4 points of damage. They are down to 2.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. They attack. That's a 4 this time. And with us down to 12, it is theoretically possible. No. So we are down to 10 shield.
Okay. That is a 6 on our dice, which is good. And I could roll, but there doesn't seem much point because it's 2 points of damage.
It's
anyway.
2 points of damage at least. So the enemy ship is done. Which is frankly good news. Because we were starting to look a bit ropey there.
I was not expecting that to be quite as brutal as it was. It makes sense though. Thematically,
it's tough, yeah, but it's a tough system when it comes to the ship combat. Right, so. Oh yes, I am a bit worried about that as well. That does worry me a little bit. That maybe all the rest of the way, through the book, it'll say, "Did you destroy a Star Cruiser right at the beginning?" We turn to page 16. Okay. It says, you probe ahead into space with your long-range scanners. On the fringe of your scan radius to port is a small star with an orbiting solar system, which you may head for. Otherwise, you may increase speed to warp and head off into deep space.
Well, that is good news that we can now do that.
Yeah. The question, I suppose, is do you think this new star system we could theoretically, perhaps, get our ship repaired at?
There was mention, wasn't there, of was it landing on a planet, getting a ship repaired?
Theoretically, yeah.
Yeah. Or are they going to like the fact that we blew up a ship?
We don't actually know. For all we know, This Star Cruiser was at war with that planet.
Well, that's true. But as Snail does point out, the star system with the grumpy lizards living on it.
There's bound to be such a
Well, at
star
least
system,
around it.
but this might not be it.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Do you think we should land, or at least approach?
I don't know. Something about me says, let's get away from here and go to deep space. But something says, repair the ship before we go, if we can. I mean, the chances are, because he's a lizard, wherever his civilization is, he'll have like 11 trillion cousins.
Yeah, that's possible.
To be fair, though, he may be the one member of the family they all hate, so...
Yeah. There's too many options, I feel, almost. Too many
yeah,
choices.
We're paralysed by the fact that we've been given two choices. What do you think? I would be tempted to say, let's try and land on the planet.
Okay, let's do it.
And
What's
this could
the worst
be a
that can happen?
terrible idea, but let's have a go and turn to 180.
Whilst we're landing, then, please resplend for us all. In our resplendent choice.
Of course, I shall reach for my my mug. Right, 1 second. There you go, some resplending for you.
Glorious stuff. Thank you very much.
Okay. As you approach the small star, your scanners pick up 2 planets in orbit. One is a large red planet, which you may approach by turning to 258. The other planet is dull blue, and you may approach it by turning to 86. So, big red, dull blue, that's all we know, so...
Yeah, that's true. I had neither of those colours selected because I didn't realise that it was going to give us colour options. So I have no real preference. I suppose lizards are equally likely to live on either a blue planet or a red planet, assuming the red planet's hot.
Well, it may be hot, or it may just be coloured red. Lots of iron-filled rock.
That's true. That's true.
A planet of irony.
I'm not sure I like that. Sounds like a dangerous place.
Yes, ironically, the planet was made of iron. Red or blue, or big or small, or bright or dull. Those are your choices.
There's quite a lot of choices, to be fair. I'm gonna go blue, I think. Then.
Blue. Okay, blue is fair enough. It's a dull blue colour, and we approach it by turning to 86. Okay. You increase speed towards a dull blue planet and start to orbit it. Short-range scanners indicate that it is a life-bearing planet. So that's a good hit for a start. The most heavily populated area appears to be a city in the centre of a large island. You may beam down into the centre of the city, taking any other 3 crew members from the sheet with you. Or we can leave orbit and continue onwards. So, if we go down, we don't have to. If we go down, we can take up to 3 of our 6 crew with us. And obviously you can pick which ones. Technically, the most accomplished of your crew is guard number 1,
Yeah.
a
Red shirt number
red-shirted loser.
Yeah.
But he's definitely your best choice if you're looking for someone in a combat capacity. Unless you need the specialist skills that a security officer might bring, I guess. And obviously you've got a science officer, a medical officer, and an engineering officer.
Yes. Are we exploring? Do we think that's the plan?
Well,
The
I mean,
lizards have not
technically we
escaped,
could
Luke.
just keep going, I believe. And that would be fine. But I feel there's probably something we're going to need from somewhere.
Yeah, if we've come this close, it feels like we should at least repair the ship.
And I can't shake the feeling that the transporter beams we use are very much doors.
That's true. That's true. They're doors, but not as we know them.
Exactly right. Yes.
Let's do it then.
Okay. So we will turn to 209. Which crew should we take down, do you think?
That is a good question. I'm thinking red shirt number 1. For
Okay.
obvious reasons. Do you have any other suggestions?
I'm wondering if taking the engineering officer might be helpful if we need them to help. It may be that when they say, you know, we're happy to repair your ship, you might need an engineering officer with you and we might miss an opportunity.
That's a good call. Yeah, definitely.
Other than that, I'd be tempted to say maybe a science officer.
Yeah, I would agree with not the medic for the time being.
Yeah. Let's not take the medic on the basis that we want him for his +2 that we get every time we leave a planet.
Yes, and he's not particularly hardy.
I mean, actually, his stamina's great. 22.
No, okay.
I mean, he's one of our tougher people. I mean, he's quite buff, except in a fight where he fights with effectively a 6 because he gets his -3, which is.
Well, let's leave them anyway. As you say, we do want that +2. Would be handy if we need it.
So science officer, guard number 1, and an engineering officer.
Engineer.
Excellent. Let's do that. Right. So you materialize on the planet's surface and look around. You are in a wide street of some kind, which is completely deserted. Buildings of sorts line the street, and behind you a large building stands at the end of the road. The buildings are strange structures. There are a multitude of shapes and sizes, and all look incomplete. So we can go down the road looking for signs of life, or approach the large building behind us, or try one of the smaller buildings.
This sounds rather familiar. It must be said. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It does sound a little bit familiar. I just can't remember if that was turned out to be a positive thing.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, signs of life seems good. But if there's no one in the street, are we going to find them in the street anyway, or is it better to look in a building?
I mean, if we go to the big building, might be a sort of community centre or something. Even if there's nobody in it, we might see something that would give us a clue. The problem is we don't really have enough information to make a genuine informed decision, do we?
No, you're right. You're right. Although, statistically speaking, I suppose all things being as you would expect, the larger building is more likely to hold a person.
Well, we can try it. I mean, what's the worst that happens? Insta-death. Well, we've had that before.
Well, that is true. It's not entirely unfamiliar. Let's do it.
Okay, let's give it a shot. We will try the large building behind us and turn to 73. Okay. Steps lead up to the large building. An inscription on the door indicates that it is a building of some importance. You knock, but there is no reply, although you can hear excited chatter coming from within. You try the door, it opens, and you step into a large entrance hallway. Several pairs of aliens of a variety of shapes and sizes cross the corridor in front of you, travelling purposefully from room to room and arguing excitedly with each other. A mysterious creature, dressed in shabby blue robes, notices you and shuffles over. Its face cannot be seen, but its eyes shine bright blue at you. It speaks, and your translator interprets. "Ah, you look interesting. Where do you think the new medicine house should go?" You explain that you are new to these parts and that you would like to meet some person of authority. The alien laughs. "No one has authority here, my friend. We're all equal. Come, let me show you round." And he offers to take you either to the main meeting hall or on a more general tour, and we can pick which one.
Oh, this sounds like a wonderful place, Ben. Let's call it here. We're home. Game over. Thanks, everyone.
Actually,
we found Utopia.
There isn't an option, but as far as I'm concerned, yeah, we can just settle here.
Apparently, we're interesting. Everyone's equal.
Yep, sounds good.
Although not in their intrigue.
Of course, we're now about to discover that they only subsist on rock or something.
Or humans.
Or possibly equal humans, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the only choices we have at the moment are to go to the main meeting hall or on a general tour of, I don't know if it's the building or the town, it doesn't say. I suppose the difference is main meeting hall would introduce us to more people, general tour would show us more of the place. I'm more curious about the place than I am about the people.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
That makes
Get
sense.
A general feel for what sort of buildings they've got lying around.
So we will go on a general tour and turn to 103. Your guide, who is called Fioral, shows you from room to room, explaining the planet. "Our gods are freedom and equality," says the little creature. "This is an extremely pleasant planet to live on. And it welcomes settlers of all types. Everyone is entirely equal, whether they have lived here all their lives or have just arrived. Everyone may also do anything they like here. We have no need for laws." He shows you around the record office, planning area, and rooms of state. On the way back to the debating chamber, you pass the guard room. You ask why, if there are no laws, they have the need for guards. Fioral stops and explains. "Guards do not guard things. We do not need to protect things. It's just that some members of our community get pleasure out of attacking others, and, of course, they are free to do as they wish. But in fairness to the rest of the population, they dress up in uniforms and call themselves guards so as to warn others that they must be on guard when a guard passes. Do you understand? While you are considering this, however, 3 of these guards have left their room and have crept up behind you. They leap on your backs and wrestle with you. Fioral backs away. Okay. We have 3 guards to fight. Guard is, after all, as we know, just a shortened form of gardener. And this place of perfection and equality and happiness is suddenly looking a bit less entertaining. Okay, so hand-to-hand combat. I'm just going to check because they put the rules in one of the paragraphs. Combat is simultaneous. Roll 2 dice, add skill. Roll 2 dice, add skill. Attack strength is higher. Attack strength is higher. Equal. Misses. 2 stamina points. 2 stamina points. And repeat until somebody's dead. Okie dokie. Alright. So, essentially, there are 3 alien guards. And we have 4 people with us. Now, our science officer would fight with a skill of 6. And our engineering officer with a skill of 5. However, they are obviously people. So do we want to throw them into the melee?
It's a tough call. I mean, ideally, no. If we can do it without them. But that's the if, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they've both got reasonable amounts of stamina. They can take a bit of punishment. I suppose we can essentially use them until we start getting frightened about them and then pull them out if needed.
Yeah, that's true. Should we give it a go?
Okay, let's give it a shot. In which case, our noble captain will take the first guard, I assume.
Yeah, of course. First into action.
The second guard will be the responsibility of our security guard, our red shirt. And the third guard we will throw the other 2 jointly at, in the hope that they can do enough between them. Okay.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right. So your opponent has skill 8, stamina 10.
Wonderful. Perfect. And is this as... Sorry, I know you've gone through it all already, but there was a lot of decision making. Is this as we would normally expect in
Yes,
Fighting Fantasy?
exactly. So essentially, roll 2 dice, add your skill,
add skills.
and then I will roll 2 dice for the other guy and add his skill, and we will whittle them away one by one. But this is a big melee, this fight.
Good stuff. Well, that's not a great start. So 7 plus 11 is 18.
Okay. First guard has a skill of 8. Plus 5. So he is down to 8 stamina. Meanwhile, our red shirt has a skill of 11 and is going to attack the second guard.
Just what you need from a red shirt.
Total of 16. Can you roll 2d6 for the second guard, please? His skill is 7.
Okay. That is an 8. Plus 7 is 15.
15. Okay, so he is chipped away down to 7 as well. The third guard, can you roll for him, please? He also has a skill of 7.
Certainly can. That is a 7 plus 7 for 14.
14. Okay, and our science officer has a skill of 9. Plus 4, I'm afraid, is only 13. Minus 3 is 10.
Yes.
Which is excellent. And our engineering officer has rolled an 8. Plus 8 is 16. Minus 3 is 13.
I forgot about that bit.
So the question is, which of them does he hit?
Yes.
I'll just roll odds and evens. It's an even, so it is the engineering officer who takes the hit. He is down to 13. Okay. Next round.
All Wonderful. Oh, that's good. That's a 10 plus 11 for 21, please, Ben.
Oh, fantastic. And that is a 6 plus 8 is 14. He takes another hit and he is down to 6 stamina. Now,
A fair way to go there.
a little way. The security guard is going to roll. He's got 11 plus 6 is 17. And you need to roll and add 7 to it, please, for the second card.
That is a 7 plus 7 for 14.
Excellent. He drops now to 5 stamina. Okay. And the third guard, if you could roll an attack for him, please. His skill is 7.
That's a lot of 7s tonight. There's another 7.
For a total of 14.
14. Yeah.
Okay. Our science officer has rolled an 11. Plus 9 is 20. Minus 3 is 17. Which is enough for a hit. And our engineering officer has rolled an 8. Plus 8 is 16, but minus 3 is 13. So, whatever happens, the enemy guard takes a hit and drops to 8.
Yeah.
And luckily, he went for the security officer, for the science officer. So nobody, nobody takes any damage on our side, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Away we go. Your attack again, please.
Ooh, that's a 2 plus 11
Oh.
for 13.
That is a 7 plus 8 for 15. So I'm afraid our noble captain takes 2 points of stamina damage.
That's okay. We can get that back when we return to the ship.
Absolutely. That's exactly the way to think about it. Okay. The second the second guard, can you roll an attack for him, please? That's a skill of 7.
Mm-hmm. Same dice. Give me a double 5 for a 10.
Okay.
17.
But that is a 10 for our security guard, which adds up to a total of 21. So
very nice.
He drops to 3 stamina, the second guard, which is good. Okay. And the final guard, if you can roll for him, he has a skill of 7.
I certainly can. That is a 7 once more for a 7 for a 14.
14. Aha. And science officer rolled a 7 plus 9, but minus 3 is obviously 13, which is, irritating. And our engineering officer rolled a 4, which is effectively a 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all down to which one he hits. He hit the science officer this time, who is now down to 16 stamina. So again, we're thankfully we're still taking like 2 points for each person, so they'll all be healed when we go back up, assuming we don't get into another fight like this. Okay. Your attack, sir.
That is a 7 once again. I'm just beginning to think that I should just say they're all going to be 7s from now on. For an 18 total.
Okay. And the first guard rolls a 9 plus 8 is 17. So I'm afraid that's 2 stamina gone from our noble captain. Okay. Our red shirt gets to have a go now. That's an 8 plus 11 is 19.
Oh, that's a 3 this time.
Plus 7 is 10. He is down to 1 stamina, the second guard. And the third guard, he has a skill of 7 as well. So if you can roll an attack for him, please.
I certainly can. Oh, that's a 4.
Okay. So a total of 11. Yeah. That's an 8 for our science officer, which adds up to 17. Minus his 3 is still 14. And our engineering officer has rolled a 10, plus 8 is 18, still 15, which means the third guard drops suddenly all the way down to 4 stamina. This is good stuff. Okay, away you go. Your opponent still has 6 stamina, I'm afraid.
Oh, it started so well. That is an 8 plus 11 for 19.
Fantastic. And the guard you're fighting has rolled a 7 plus 8 for 15, so is now down to 4 stamina. If you can roll a skill check for the second guard, please. His skill is 7.
Indeed. Sorry, Ben, that's an 11 plus 7 for an 18.
I'm not actually all that worried, because that was a 9. Plus 11 is 20. Which means the second guard is dead.
Very nice.
We've got one of them down. The third guard. Okay, could you roll a skill check? His skill is 7, please.
Yeah, switch up some dice. Well, that's better. That's a 5.
Okay.
Hopefully that gives them a fighting chance with their minus 3s.
Yeah. So 7 plus 5 is 12.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Our security officer, our science officer has rolled a 9 plus 9 is 18, minus the 3 is 15.
That is good news.
And I'm afraid that's 7, 15. 7 and 8, 15, which means subtract that out, that's tied. So the third guard, could be worse, drops to 2 stamina. Okay.
Still doing worse than mine. just going to put that out there.
All right. You've got 4 stamina, no, 2 stamina left on your guy, haven't you?
I had 4, but I may have missed one.
No, I know it must be 4 because he hit you, didn't he, back? That's right. So, right, on that basis, I think the red shirt is going to join in and attack your guy. See if we can finish him off in one turn.
Oh, okay. Right, my attack. Oh, that's more like it. That's a double 6.
Wow.
Please, for a 23.
Excellent. That's opposing a 6. Plus 8 is 14. And our red shirt has rolled an 11 for 22. The first guard is also dead. So if you can roll an attack for the third guard, please.
Indeed.
Skill is 7.
That is a 6 plus 7 for 14.
Okay. Our science officer rolled a 5. Plus 9 is 14. Minus 3 is 11. And our engineering officer...
Those minus 3s. Oh.
Yeah. rolled a 6. Plus 8 is 14. Minus 3 is 11.
Yeah, of course. Part of me likes to think that they chose minus 3 as a number because of Traveller and not having skill in something.
Indeed. That would be nice, wouldn't it? I'm afraid our science officer has dropped to 14 health. However, now it's time to unleash hell.
Yes, this is what we're abiding our time for.
Because we all get to go now. All four of us.
Lovely. That's what we
So,
like.
yeah. How about you go and I'll see what the target is because we've only got to just wing him a bit.
That's true. That's true. So attack. It's an 8 plus 11 is 19.
Okay, well that is an 8 plus 7 is 15. So you have done it. And the final guard lies dead at your feet. Okay, we have defeated all of the guards, and we therefore get
Eventually.
rewarded by turning to page 150.
That is good news.
Okie dokie. Fioral steps back out of the shadows and approaches you. He seems not to be in the least bit surprised by the scuffle. Scuffle? 3 men are dead! That's not a scuffle.
Yeah, that is a very lightly chosen words, I feel.
Yeah.
Many of us is really wounded as well
Yeah.
at this point.
Yes, we... yeah, 3 of us have taken wounds. You ask why the guards attacked. Oh, for no reason, he says. They are free to do anything they like. You may now ask to be shown either the debating chamber or the travel and maps room. Or you can leave the building and beam back to the ship. I mean, I have to say, the debating chamber's going to be ridiculous on this world, isn't it?
Well, you'd imagine it's just full of guards
And
beating the living daylights out of each other.
And nobody's going to agree on any rules for debate. I mean, I'm not entirely clear what happens if one of the guards, who's allowed to do what he wants, decides not to wear the guard's uniform because he doesn't want to.
That's a very good question.
So we could do the debating chamber. I mean, it could just turn into a massive melee.
It could be lively.
But I am really, really tempted by the travel and maps room. That could give us real information.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like the sensible option, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Travel and maps room?
Let's do it.
Okay.
If you're happy with that.
Yeah,
that
I'm very
seems like
happy
a
with
good
that.
choice.
So the travel and maps room turned to 194. Okay. The travel and maps room is in a state of chaos. Books and charts lie all over the floor and the various tables in the room. A small, withered alien with a large head, blue skin, and long fingers is asleep in one corner but wakes as you enter. You ask that first for maps of the planet, but can learn little from them. While you wonder whether any of the star charts will be of use, the little man finds a large map and allows you to study it. Apparently, you are in a solar system around the sun, Magnus. Apart from this one, there is only one other life-bearing planet in this system called Trax, orbiting Magnus a little further out. Trax was recently devastated by war, and many of its inhabitants left to settle on this planet. The other 2 nearest planets, although light years away, are Kulamata, orbiting a purple sun, and Makoman, orbiting a double star. There are no black holes found on the chart. You thank the creature for his help and leave the building, bidding goodbye to Fioral as you leave. And outside, you beam back to the ship. Turn to 290. Okay, so we don't really have any actual information so to speak, on any of
We
these
know what they're
planets.
called.
But other than names, but at least we've got some names. So we will turn to 290.
Yeah. We do all get the glorious ability to regain some stamina. Is that correct?
We do indeed. So anyone who's taken injuries gets 2 stamina points back.
Wonderful.
That restores our engineering officer to full health
That's very good.
and our science officer to 16 points, just 2 shy of full health.
And I am the same. I am on 16, too shy of full health.
Okay. So back on the bridge, you set coordinates for your next journey. Another life-bearing planet orbits the same sun a little further out. We now know that is Trax. And you may visit this next, or you may head further onwards towards a purple sun some light years away. So we now know the one bit further out is Trax with the former war and everyone's a refugee from it.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like it's a likely place to go, right? But alternatively, we can head off for a lovely purple sun some light years away.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of with Snail on this one. I feel as though a war-torn planet is not necessarily the best idea. Although if everyone's left it, maybe that's where all the guards came from.
Well, bear in mind, we went to a completely utopian planet where everyone is free and everyone is equal, and very nearly got killed in a
That's
giant
true.
massacre. So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
we can achieve that when there isn't a war going on, imagine what we
How
could do in a
bad?
war zone. We
Well,
could
yeah.
we could end up instantly dead.
That is very true. There was talk of repairing the ship, Ben. Does that automatically happen, or do we have to actually locate
I'm afraid
somewhere
it can
on
only
the
happen at a
planets?
shipyard, and we did not find one.
Ah, right. Okay. Well,
I was hoping that the planet we visited might have one, but frankly, once we've seen how they run the place, I'm not convinced they'll have the right parts. Or if they
no.
do, they'll be inserted in the wrong shelf upside down by someone who can't remember where he put them.
Yeah, or in fact be using the shipyard for a shipyard. Someone could have just decided to
Yeah.
turn it into I don't know, a nice spot for brunch.
A post-war planet full of peace and tranquility. Yeah,
And
well, they did
shipyards.
say the war
Shipyards
was
as far as the eye
recent.
could see.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you fancy? I'm tempted to say, let's blow this popsicle stand and go for the purple sun.
It's a tough call.
It is.
Because we have been fooled by the old double bluff in these books many a time, I'm sure.
We have, and obviously large red planets where there's recently been wars are still doors.
Well, yeah, probably. Not sure what to. That is the problem. Okay, let's do it. Let's get out of this place and head to the Purple Sun.
Okay, purple sun.
If that's what you're happy with.
All right. Yeah, I'm entirely comfortable with that.
Wonderful.
A post-war planet full of ship repairing. Yes, it
That's
probably is. But until we fail this book horribly and have to do it again, we will never know, because we're going to press on towards a purple sun where hopefully the purple colour indicates the presence of many shipyards.
No doubt.
Purple suns. Okay, we turn to 44 to visit a purple sun. Okie dokie. So what it says is this. Approaching the purple star, your scanners indicate that the second planet has an atmosphere ideal for life. You drop into orbit around the planet and scan the surface. There are strong indications of intelligent activity. Indeed, it is likely that the planet's civilization is further advanced than your own. Now, we can beam down to the planet or press onwards. And I'm, thrilled at either possibility. However, I would point out that we are running closer and closer to our sort of departure time, and this looks like a good place to break before we make the decision as to which crew members to take.
Yeah, that's probably accurate. Probably a good idea.
So this might be the perfect time to take a break. What we will do is we will stop for this evening. Many apologies that tonight is a relatively short one, but we will resume this when we next are able at paragraph 44 and ready to beam down onto a planet. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming along and watching us make fools of ourselves playing this game.
I hope for helping us survive as well, it must be said.
And we have survived. In fact, that's one of the things that is the benefit of a relatively short session, is that we have a much better chance of surviving it.
Yeah, way less chances for death.
So thank you, everybody, whether live or on VOD. And Snailhead, thank you. Slayer, thank you for popping by. Sparrow, it's I saw Crit's name pop up. It's been really nice to have you guys with us. Thank you so much.
Even Luke.
Well, I didn't want to mention him because, we
do
talk about him, a bit. Yeah, I think that's what it is, actually. What I'm saying is a short session is cheating because it allows us to survive.
Yeah. Don't worry, we will die eventually.
I'm sure we will fail this book. Don't worry. In fact, I suspect we've already failed it somewhere. We've already missed something that we will need at the end.
That we need, yeah.
We just haven't... We're already dead men walking. We just haven't worked out why yet.
Yeah, that is the killer bit about these books.
But thank you very much, everybody. Tomorrow night, I think it's Tony and Rudy with the assistance of Gaston.
Yes.
Yes, you'll probably find as soon as we stop to check our computer and got 2 points knocked off our shields, we'd already failed the whole book. We just, aren't... Yes, it could be the war planet. It could be the fact that initially we were offered 3 planets we could go to, and then while we fannied about, that suddenly became only 1, and the other 2 could have been really important. Who knows? I'm sure there is a potentially successful route through this, but we will find out another time. So thank you so much, everybody. And tomorrow, Tony and Rudy, Luke will be back with us and taking us through some exciting Indiana homes. And
that's the one.
Yeah, and we'll all become very, very European for a while. So thank you all, and good night.
Good night.